Hello, my kumkomerkies. Welcome back. We are ready to jump back into the next episode of this Beyonce album ranking that we started. If you haven't watched the first video, you can check it out. It's gonna be over here, I think, maybe, fingers crossed. But yeah, thank you for coming back to my channel. My name is Kai and Pepper, and I have been a Beyonce fan. I've been a Beyonce fan for a very long time, and I think that more than qualifies me to be doing this album ranking. So like we discussed in the last video, we will be ranking Beyonce albums, and the way we will be doing that is by looking at each track from each album, putting it in a tier list, but we will not be looking at each album in isolation. What we will be doing instead is we will be adding the entire discography into one tier list. And then hopefully what that will give us at the end is a good view of which are the top tier songs, which are the bottom tier songs. Not that there are many. But once we have a look at that, we will be able to, based on the information shown on our tier list, establish what is actually Beyonce's best album. So let's get back into this tier list. So getting back to where we left off the last time, we started by ranking Beyonce's debut album, Dangerously in Love. It was a bit of a trial run. We basically used that album as a calibrator to establish how we will be ranking the songs, what qualifies as S tier down to F tier. We've also discussed that we've got this F tier over here, which I think for now we are still keeping mainly for interludes and for songs that I personally don't like. So let's just have a quick recap. As we can see, we had no S tier songs for Dangerously in Love. Don't come for me. That's my own personal opinion. But I did justify that in the previous video. So if you want to get into how each song got to their respective rankings, you can check out that video. But in A tier, we've got Crazy in Love and Me, Myself and I. In the B tier, we've got Be With You, The Closer I Get to You, Baby Boy, Naughty Girl, and Signs. In C tier, we've got Speechless and Dangerously in Love. D tier, we've got Hip Hop Star, Yes, and Gift from Virgo. The F tier, we've got That's How You Like It, the Beyonce interlude, and Daddy. So this is where we found ourselves at the end of the last ranking, right? So as promised, we will be getting into B-Day and seeing how that compares to Dangerously in Love. Just one caveat though, I did preload the deluxe version. I think for practical purposes, I will not be looking at any deluxe albums. I think I'm gonna keep it to the standard release albums. Let's focus on the original intent of each album. It will also just make ranking these videos a lot easier. Using B-Day as a good example, there's quite a few tracks that was added to the deluxe version of the release. I think that for me, again, me personally, they did not add much. Some of them are good songs. As an example, if we don't look at the deluxe, we will not be considering a track like Beautiful Liar. But rules are rules. We are sticking to the standard editions. So I will not be redoing this import, but I will basically just, instead of going by this list, I will just pull up the original track list on my phone, and yeah, I'll basically just use that to determine the order in which we will be doing this. So let's get into it. The first track that we're going to be looking at from B-Day is going to be Deja Vu. Like Beyonce said herself during the Beyonce Experience tour, this is my song right here. So I've moved Deja Vu up into the A tier. Let's see if it will stay in the A tier, whether it will move up or whether it will move down. So I've put Deja Vu for now in the A tier. Let's just see how that plays out and matches out with the rest of the tracks. I definitely think that Deja Vu is a signature song. A, it's a fan favorite. B, it's one of my favorites. C, I don't know why I'm counting in letters. Like, who does that? I would definitely put it right up there next to Crazy in Love. As a matter of fact, in many ways, Deja Vu is the follow-up to Crazy in Love. You know, it also uses a lot of the same horn motifs that became a signature sound throughout Beyonce's career. So I think it's quite fair to have Deja Vu right up there next to Crazy in Love and Me, Myself and I as an A-tier song. The next track on the standard edition is Get Me Bodied. Definitely for me, it holds a special place in my heart. I remember when this album came out. This was released in 2006. And a little history about myself. 2006 was also the year in which same-sex unions were legalized in South Africa. And at the time, I was in a relationship, and yeah, me and my partner decided to, take up the opportunity and, get married. And even though we're not together anymore, I still feel like that was such a special moment in South Africa, and it was also for me being one of the first people to actually be able to make use of this great gift and privilege that we've been given. And it was also during the same time of my queer liberation and rebirth. I still remember back in the day, Club Stargazer. If you know, you know. That's where all the gays and the girls would be gathering every weekend. And as soon as the song came on, the entire club would get into the choreography. It was such a magical moment. It's got such fond memories for me. It's such a Beyonce staple. I think it's definitely deserving of an A tier. I am a bit worried though that we don't have any S tiers yet, and I feel like I might be a little bit too strict. But let's continue and see how things plays out. The next track on the standard edition is Suga Mama. Now, Suga Mama for me, where are you even? Where's Suga Mama? Why is Suga Mama not here? Here's Suga Mama. Suga Mama for me has made a bit of a resurgence. She was alright, she was fine. But recently I've started listening to Suga Mama a lot more. And especially during the Cowboy Carter era, I feel like Suga Mama fits in so well with a track like Yaya as an example, and just like the real instruments being used, the raw vocals, the screaming, the yelling, the belting. In recent times, I really started enjoying this track, and I appreciate the bluesy influence in the track as well. Now for me, when I was much younger, jazz and blues was like a big part of my musical universe. And I think for that reason, I might actually put Suga Mama in S tier. I think it's a good song to use to introduce someone who has not been exposed to Beyonce before. It's a great track to give them an idea of, Beyonce's roots, her background, her vocal style, the way she attacks songs, also the love for live instruments. I think it's a great song. So I think Suga Mama actually, and surprisingly, is our first S tier. I'll come back to Deja Vu. Deja Vu. Okay, let's continue and let's see where this goes. All right, so the next track we've got is Upgrade You. So with Upgrade You, it's fine. I like the song. It's not a song that I will use to introduce a newbie to Beyonce. And I think it's not a song that I listen to that often. But it's a great song. It's a great beat, great melody. I'm gonna put it right here next to Baby Boy. I think it lives in the same sort of family over here. Let me just move up Science as well. Actually, Science is number one. I think Sun should be number one. Yeah, I like that. Close I Get You, Baby Boy, Naughty Girl. Let me maybe do this, just so we can kind of see where things are playing out. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Now that we've ranked Upgrade You, the next song is Ring the Alarm. I really love Ring the Alarm. I love an aggressive vocal coming from Beyonce. I love this music video. I love when Beyonce performs this song live. It's got such attitude. I love the sound of it. I wonder if this is something that I would use to introduce Beyonce. It's definitely A tier already. It's not going to be B, it's already A tier. I'm just wondering whether we can actually move it up to S tier. Would I call Ring? It's a signature Beyonce song. It's one of these vocal styles, musical styles, subject matter. It's something that describes what average Beyonce song could potentially be. So I think for that reason, I'm going to put it in S tier. Fight me. All right, so let's move on to Kitty Cat. That's the next song on the list. Kitty Cat, also a favorite of mine. She is the girl. I wouldn't say she's S tier, but she definitely belongs up here in the A tier. Let's see though where I would put her. I would bump her up just before Me, Myself and I. Okay. So as we can see, it looks so far as if B-Day might be jumping ahead in the ranking list. Ahead of Dangerously in Love. So interesting. As much as I said that B-Day holds a special place in my heart, currently where I'm sitting, I wouldn't consider it one of my favorite albums, but here we are. You know, as we can see, there is actually quite a few good tracks on here that's ranking quite high up on our tier list over here. So let's see how this all plays out. The next song on the list would be Freakum Dress. Interestingly enough, I've recently found out that it was originally planned to be the second single from B-Day instead of Ring the Alarm. And the first single was supposed to be Green Light. So just imagine how different that era would have played out if we actually had the first single as Green Light and the second single as Freakum Dress. I can see that entire era moving in a completely different direction. So it's actually quite interesting for me. I always wonder why that decision was made. I guess it's also coming from off the back of Dangerously in Love, which was so commercially successful and so radio forward that the assumption would just be that naturally each subsequent song would also follow the same format. And I feel like Ring the Alarm was such a big pivot away from the smooth, polished sound that we grew to know Beyonce by. And yeah, I've always wondered about that. I in hindsight, I do enjoy that pivot happened because I feel like it also opened up so much more room for Beyonce to play with as far as the sound. And, you know, opened up possibilities of future albums and certain sounds that's a little bit more experimental and less expected. So I'm happy with the decision. In the moment, I was just like, aggressive. And speaking of Green Light, that is the next track we're going to be looking at. Now listen, Green Light is a song. Green Light is a song. I enjoy that the song takes you on a journey. I feel like it's an early version of tracks where Beyonce plays around with different parts and different sections within songs, different sounds, because certain sections, you know, are very percussive heavy, and then certain sections go into this big trumpet brass section type of vibe. You also get like good bass lines as well. The bass guitar really comes through in the song. So like there's all these different elements that comes together. And also with each chorus, the chorus just fleshes out a bit more. The song just grows and grows and grows, which reminds us of a certain song of Renaissance that also builds and builds and builds. But we'll get to that. Patience is a virtue. But yes, Green Light for me is one of Beyonce's best tracks. It's a favorite. It's number one in our household. It's moving straight up to the front of the S tier. I am very happy with it there. Because now that we've done Green Light, the next song from the standard edition is Irreplaceable. So let's get into this. Irreplaceable, obviously, big track, massive hit, multiple weeks at number one, biggest song from the album. Also a bit of a new sound for Beyonce, which will also influence future sounds coming up. I do feel though that as far as subject matter and the lyrics of the song, it's maybe not as strong, and it's not indicative really for me of what a Beyonce experience is. So I can't look past the fact that this was a massive song, but it's not a song that I would use to introduce someone who has not been exposed to Beyonce before. I don't think it's a good overall first impression of what a Beyonce experience is. You know, as much as her catalog is quite varied, it is kind of like an island. Like it stands on its own, and sure, it did start a new direction for Beyonce, which we will actually see in the next album. But for me, it's not really S tier. We give props where props are due, so it's definitely A tier. But yeah, that's the only reason why at this point one of the biggest songs is not S tier. Funny enough, same thing happened to Crazy in Love, but we discussed that. So the next song up is Resentment. So funny enough that I put it right here next to Dangerously in Love, because this is a similar type of situation. So with Resentment specifically, again, I love when this song gets performed on stage. I love this song live. The live version, I will say I do listen to it at times, but each time I listen to it, I always feel like I wish it was actually the live version. It's definitely not C. Let's move it up to B for now. It's not A. It's not A. Wait, is it A? No, I think it fits here in B. Like I said, if we're judging by the live version, S tier. But as far as the album version, I think it sits comfortably within B. And then finally, the last track that we're going to be looking at today is Listen. So Listen is a soundtrack song. It's from the movie Dreamgirls. Great movie, great soundtrack. B is a great position for Listen. I hardly listen to listen. Okay, I'll stop. I think maybe it's a C tier. Look, the thing is, it's a great vocal moment. One of the rare times actually where I prefer the album version to the live version. I think the album version, the vocal on the album version is really, really impressive. It's just the type of song. I'm not really into soundtrack songs. And it can be a little bit corny. And, it's a story that we've heard before as far as the lyrical content. So it's not a wow song for me in just what it is outside of the vocal. And I think for that reason, we can't really put it in B. It's definitely not D. So I think C is a good spot to have Listen at. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And there we have it. That took long, a bit longer than what I thought. This is where we are. So we've incorporated all these standard tracks into our tier list from B-Day. Let's see how that now stacks up and compares to Dangerously in Love. So in S tier, we've got Green Light, Suga Mama, and Ring the Alarm. A tier, we've got Crazy in Love, Deja Vu, Kitty Cat, Me, Myself and I, Get Me Bodied, Freakum Dress, and Irreplaceable. In B tier, we've got Signs, Be With You, Baby Boy, Upgrade You, The Closer I Get to You, Resentment, and Naughty Girl. In C tier, we've got Listen, Speechless, and Dangerously in Love. We've got Hip Hop Star, Yes, and Gift taking up the D tier. And then in the F tier, we've got That's How You Like It, the Beyonce interlude, and Daddy. I wonder if I should just remove these interludes because it kind of like muddies the definition of this tier over here. I know when we get to Kabi Carter, the interlude conversation might change a bit. We are here now. We'll tackle that, and I think there's a few other improvements that we can make to the tier list and how we are approaching this. So I will be looking at that in the meantime. So by the time we get to the next video, I will just like flesh out a few things a bit more. Now that I've added in B-Day, it has helped me to kind of like re-evaluate how we're approaching this, how we have been doing it, and how we will be doing it in future. Just so that by the time we get to the end, we are like really, really happy with what we ended up with. So we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate the view. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure you have a lot of opinions, but don't worry, this is a safe space for opinions. We all have them and we all should be using them. For now, I'm gonna sign off. My name is Kayam Pepper, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye.